Rotarians, partners, and friends of Rotary. Thank you for being here, and it's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you Mdyetseni. Memory is a wife. She's mother to 4 boys. She's an educator, and she's a co-founder of a very successful school in Malawi, Africa. I'm supposed to be changing the slides myself. Steve, there we come. What's happening, Steve? Flip it one, Steve. Malawi is in the southern part of Africa, so I just wanted that slide to show you that. Memory's going to speak in a minute about the school that she's founded, but I want to give you a very brief perspective on that school because she's going to talk a little more seriously about some of the key issues. 12 years ago, on this piece of land, Memory and co-founder Christy Johnson, a Canadian, and Memory's husband Henry had dreams to build a school. 12 years later, today, there are 20-plus buildings, including classrooms, hostels, cafeteria, teachers' houses, and other buildings here on this facility in a short, incredible 12 years. Today, there are 400 girls that are in the residence at the school, successfully challenging the social barriers in their country. There are 20 teachers, 20-plus teachers, mostly men because of the culture of that country. And this has been a very important project for our Rotary Club over the last 10 years. This Rotary Club has facilitated either its own money or money of other clubs or Rotary or both provincial and federal government, almost $500,000 in the last 10 years in support of this particular school. We built duplexes like this for teachers to live in. We've sent computers. I think we sent 75 computers over several years ago. Tanya Stilton handling that project. And today we're just completing, about 80% complete, a project to put a solar installation into the 20 buildings on the school, to buy 2,400. I did the math wrong. I said, 24,000. 2,400 new textbooks because of the new curriculum in the country. 400 lockers that I saw in that last picture, security that the girls have never had. These are the gas cookers that are going into the kitchen. This is a $320,000 project just being finished. There's also computers to come and training. Over the last 12 years, this school has been supported by over 50 Rotary clubs in this country and many, many generous individuals. And the reason that Memory is here is she's on the start of a fundraising campaign in Canada, 30-day speaking tour, beginning here, and this is her first Rotary Club this evening of the 30 days. So welcome for that purpose, Memory. There's $350,000 left to complete the $4 million that's already been spent, 4 buildings, and we hope that brick by brick through her campaign that she's able to help raise that money. We have a $100,000 donor on Vancouver Island that's going to match every dollar given between now and the end of December. So very, very positive and successful thing. There are brochures on your table if you want to read a little bit more about that. At the end of all of this, we get a class like this every June. This is the eighth graduating class from the school. And one last picture because I think it's important to see a bit of a comparison. The public school across the town where APU happens to be has 1,800 students, and this is the grade 6 class in their classroom under the trees. Some of the money that you donate, if you pick up pictures outside here, and somebody may announce this later, will go to put scribblers and pens and pencils in these classrooms 3 weeks from now when we're there in Malawi. So when you're doing that, please give that some thought. So back to the graduating class and memory, I want to welcome you tonight. Welcome to our Rotary dinner. And we're going to sit here and just have a little chat, I think, over the next few minutes. I forgot when I ordered the stools that memory's short and I got a bad hip. So, but here, we're up here. Memory, can you tell us a little bit about life of a girl child growing up in Malawi?
Thank you very much, Pat. I feel very much privileged to be given a chance this evening that I can share my story. And I can thank each one of you who has taken part in this vision of building a girls' school. So it started some time back when I visited my village. I was brought up in a city whereby I was encouraged to go to school. And this other day when I visited my village, I was very surprised in my own village that I was the only girl. I never had girlfriends to play with. And when I asked where are my girlfriends, I was told that they are all married. And that really bothered me because that time myself, I had just finished high school. And so after some time, I started learning about my village, how life is all about. I learned that most of the girls, they're not encouraged to go to school. Actually, a girl child, once she's born, she's looked at as somebody who is going to be married off. And most of the time, these girls get married when they are 14, 15. And these girls, they don't have a choice of choosing even the type of the husband that they want. And they are not involved in decision making. That bothered me a lot. And in my village, they also expected me to be the next person to get married. I refused. I said no, and I felt really bad about the behavior. And yet, when I look at my country, it's a very poor country. And I started thinking, why is my country so poor? And later on, I started learning that most of women are left behind. They're not involved in economic activities, which can put the country forward. And so then I started thinking, what can make women, girls, to be involved in economic activities? Then I started thinking, the only way out to all these problems that women and girls are facing is if they can be given a chance to go back to school. And so I started thinking very hard, and I had no one to share about this. Later on, all the time I could sit down and think about the way out to such problems, I felt bad about myself, and it was bothering me a lot, and yet there was no one that I can share this problem with. There was a time that I felt enough is enough. I need to share the story. I need to say what I feel about girls in my country. And so I had a friend by the name of Christy Johnson from Canada. And I started sharing about this, that Christy, I need to do something for my country. I need to have a school. I need to see girls go back to school. I did not know how. I did not know where the money is going to come from. But I believed where there is a will, there is a way. And so I kept on thinking about this, and Christy really believed in me. There was a time when Christy shared the story to her dad. And so her dad happened to be a Rotarian, and so she was dragged to one of the meetings, and Christy just spoke for me. And then the school started. So we started this school in 2008, and to date, we've graduated about 640 girls. It's been It's been really a long journey, but I thank each one of you. I know there are so many people that they've put a lot of their money and a lot of their thinking in this vision. And as I'm speaking, you really don't know how many girls, how many lives, how many families that you've changed and you've made them smile. Out of these 640 girls that I've educated, some, they are working right now. They've become primary school teachers, and wherever they are, there is a change. I always receive information telling me that we like your girls. They are really bringing in a positive impact. And most of these girls, they've gone back home and they've taken their siblings back to school. The leaders in their communities, they've started to respect them. And these girls, they've been empowered, they've been given a voice and a choice in their own society. They've got a choice to choose a type of husband that they would want to marry to. And they've got a voice to say, I want to have two children, one child, not being bothered by someone. So this is what education can do back home. I'm so thankful that I've been given a chance to share a story. I know there are so many people, they've got beautiful stories, but they don't have chance. They are not given such an opportunity to speak. And so for me, I'm so grateful for all of you and each one of you, what you've done and what you're doing towards this project. Thank you.
Memory, I'm sure that it was not easy. Can you talk about some of the challenges that faced you in your area, in your community, as you tried to build the school?
Thank you, Pat. Yes, challenges were there. As I already said, that where there's a will, there's a way. I faced so many challenges on the way. In the beginning, I would say, even sharing the story to Christy, it wasn't easy. It was hard. And so even Christy sharing the story to her dad, it was not easy. And all the time I would see Christy's dad, I was so scared because all the time I was like, you know, I'm bothering their family. But I had no option other than telling. And that time, my boyfriend by then, Henry, that I got married to, he's an engineer, and he had a good job. In the family, they never really liked the idea that I brought forward to him, that he had to resign and follow me in the village, stay there, build a school for me. And the family felt I was so too much demanding. But I needed him to come and help me. So that never really went well with the family. But I said, this is what I want. I want the girls to be educated. And so when we started the school, no one really believed what we're doing. But we kept on working hard. And as Pat showed you the pictures of the teachers, you would see that I was the only female teacher. And the treatment that the teachers gave to students, sometimes I never liked it. And it took me to speak out. And sometimes it's really hard when you keep on collecting people when they're doing something bad. It's so challenging. But I kept on doing that, and I keep on doing that only to see the girls being respected and achieving the goal of giving a voice and a choice to a girl child. And the community, at first, it was not supportive. But later on, I'll tell you that it has changed, and they've got a positive attitude. And this time around, it has made even boys and men to work extra hard because they've seen the potential in girls. If a girl can manage to go to university, a man thinks, me too, I need to work hard. So it has really changed the perception, regardless of the challenges that were there.
Christy, Christy's the other half. Memory, can you talk about the impact that the school is having in your community with the girls and in the country?
Yes, there's huge impact. First of all, I would say girls, they've been given a voice and a choice. They're able to stand up for themselves. They're able to speak for themselves. Apart from that, these girls, when they go home, they are taking leadership role because of what they can speak, of what they can do. And later on, they are taking their brothers and sisters back home, back to school, something that was not done. And so if one girl is educated, you expect the rest of the family to go back to school. And neighbors, they are also looking at this girl, what she's doing, and they've started sending their kids to school, just looking at this one example, how she's treating her family. They've come to send the girls and the rest of the children to school. And at the same time, boys are being taught to respect girls, of which would never happened before.
Tell us about the impact on the girls themselves in terms of their futures and the things that they get to do when they're done in school.
And so we are looking at the number that we've graduated so far, 640. These are the girls that, as of today, they were going to have 4 children, 3 children, and really populating the country that is already in poverty. So just by keeping these girls in school, we are saving so many lives that were going to be really in dire poverty. Apart from that, these girls, they've come to be respected, as I said earlier. They are being respected. They've got a choice to get married or not. And at the same time, these girls are dreaming big. They don't feel finished with what they're doing because they've got opportunity to go further with their education, more especially those that never had a chance to go to university. They're able to go back to school. So there's a little more that is happening to girls.
Tell us what some of those girls are doing these days now that they've graduated.
Okay, so some of them, they're still in university, but a big number of them, they've become primary school teachers, and some, they've become nurses, and some of the girls, they've opened their own nursery schools. So almost each and every girl is having something to do economically.
Remember, we just have a couple of minutes, but tell us a little bit about how this may impact your country, your society.
I think this, in the long run, we are going to have women, mothers, who are going to raise children that are going to be responsible, and children that will be able to go to school, children who will receive good health care because they've got mothers who are educated. In the long run, I feel better Malawi.
Do you see any politicians in the mix?
Sorry?
Any leaders going into government from this group?
Oh, sure.
And just one of the real shining examples, maybe just tell about Mdyetseni.
So one of our girls who happened to be in the first class, she really did well, and she was given a scholarship to study here in Canada at Pearson College. And she finished, and then she was given another scholarship to study in US, University of Oklahoma. And right now, she's gone back for her master's. And she's really a dear to me because she's taken a leadership role in her family. Right now, she's put back all her siblings back to school. She's taking care of her mother and her sister, her dad. She's given them a small business that is sustaining the family. And yeah, she's really doing really well to support the family.
Emery, I think we're out of time, but thank you very much for coming tonight to share the story, to communicate your thanks to our Rotary Club and the Rotary world. You're doing incredible things. The school is an incredible example to your own country. Thank you for all that you do for humanity.